Welcome, welcome. I want to say I so appreciate you taking time away from working in your business, doing things to be operational, serving your clients, and joining us today to work on your business, getting those insights, advanced moves. One thing you can immediately implement as you wrap up our time together today. The topic is ChatGPT marketing strategy, the steps for accounting firms to attract premium clients. Okay, 1 to 34%. When I was doing some research, Walter Cruz has a study out there that in 2023, only 1% of accounting firms were using ChatGPT for their marketing strategy. In 2024, that number jumped to 34%, and it continues to grow exponentially. So now at least 34% of accounting firms are using ChatGPT for some type of their marketing strategy. And I would love to know where you are, if you want to let me know in the chat, as far as do you use ChatGPT or any other AI for marketing? So let me know where you are. And I will say, if you find that you're having a tough time finding those words to be able to communicate the value, because of that, you sound just like everybody else who's doing something similar, it makes the clients difficult to decide why they ought to go with you as opposed to some other firm. And as a result, you remain price competitive, then you are absolutely in the right place. Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Lauren, I'd love to. So hi, my name's Steve Fogelman, and I'm going to be your co-host. I'm a therapist turned business coach. And as you can see by the last names, Lauren and I have been working together, living together, married together for a number of years. Like I said, I'll be your co-host. I'll be working the chat, working the questions. And as we do our poll questions, which we have 4 of those, once you see those come up, 3 of those. If you have a question for Lauren, please go ahead and put it into the chat, and I will be sure to get those questions over to Lauren. Lauren, back to you.
Thank you. A little bit about me, if you're meeting me for the first time, is that I'm a sports psychologist turned business coach. And what I have found is that my education gave me all the tools to be able to kickstart my career with what I do, but it also prepared me to be an employee working for somebody else instead of being a business owner. And because of that, I found that there were 3 gaps. The very first one is, how do I communicate my value to attract those quality clients to me and sound different from everybody else? The second one is, how do I price my services, because I didn't want to connect my fees to time. And the third one is, how do you enroll quality clients when I didn't want to be salesy or push anybody into working with me? So those are some of the things to think about, is that this applies to firm owners too, is communicating value, how to be able to separate your fees from time, and also how to be able to enroll quality clients when you might not like the sales part. As far as whether you're using ChatGPT for marketing, Gibson Bookkeeping and Advisory says yes. Christian is saying recently started using it for creative ideas and contact. Richana says not currently, but will be, with an exclamation point. Jeffrey is currently not using ChatGPT. So that is just a little bit of where everybody is at this point. And we are going to take a deep dive into that today. So blending in versus standing out. Imagine that it is a beautiful weekend day and you are taking a drive in the country and going past all these dairy farms. You see the brown cows, you see the black cows, and all of a sudden you see this purple cow. It grabs your attention because it's different from every other cow that's out there. So you pull over, you get out of your car with your phone to take a selfie with the cow, you post on social media, and it goes viral because it is so different, it's grabbing attention. And that is what ChatGPT can help you with, is coming up with this attention-grabbing content, where to be able to post it, how to be able to stand out and have those words that you haven't been able to find yourself, and it resonates with your brand and your tone. So that is possible. We want you to have that purple cow impact, not the brown and the black cows. What we're going to cover today is removing the guesswork, ChatGPT to grab attention, and the attract quality clients is going to be what we wrap up with. I will absolutely give you as much as I possibly can in our short period of time together today. If you're interested in taking this even further and making sure that you implement, I will show you how to do that as we wrap up.
Well, Lauren, that brings us to really this key question, which is about how can firm owners increase their income without working longer hours?
And this goes right into the Raise Your Rates formula, which is 5 steps that I do with my clients on how to be able to attract quality clients to their accounting and tax firms. The very first thing is all about the quality clients, because in the beginning, you are accepting everybody. You need validation that you made a good choice to leave your 9 to 5 and to go out on your own. You need the cash flow to be able to pay some of the expenses for being operational. So after a while, you realize there's some clients who are a joy to work with and some clients who give you headaches. We want to get awareness about what are those clients that are a really good fit for your firm, because once we have awareness about that, then we can move into step number 2, which is what we're going to be taking a deep dive into today, which is communicating your value. Because the things that grab the attention of those price shoppers or the headache clients is going to be very different than what grabs attention of those quality clients that are a dream to work with. So we want to be able to know how to be able to communicate your value, whether it's a social media post, a video you might be doing, you're at a networking event, and someone casually asks you, what do you do? The third thing is packaging your services. Instead of having your service page with that long a la carte laundry list of all the different things that you do, and your clients, they don't understand all the technical terms or the jargon. So some of the things they absolutely need, they just don't know what it means. So they gloss over it and keep on skimming or go on to another page that spells it out better. We want to take all those a la carte services and bundle them together into packages. By doing this, it's a way to be able to focus on outcomes and benefits that these combined services offer, as opposed to having the a la carte services that you do. And it's the first step to value pricing your services as well. That goes right into step number 4. Value pricing is a different way of pricing your services than the traditional hourly or fixed fees, which are time-based. You're thinking about how many hours it's going to take. You're looking at what your hourly rate is, and that's how you come up with your fee. Value pricing is looking at the client and what is the value to the client, as opposed to what it is that you value as the priorities. So it flips the equation, and it is a great fit for client-centered firms. And number 5 is consultation mastery, because even if you go through the School of Business Administration in college, they usually don't even have one sales class available. So when you get out into your own business, you don't know how to do this, and you make a lot of costly mistakes, and sometimes they continue for years and years. So I want to show you how to have consultation mastery. We're having a value conversation that grabs attention. It delights the clients that are a right fit for your firm. And at the end of the conversation, they're naturally asking, how does this work? How do we get started? And you don't have to pitch them or sell them. They want to move forward. So those are the 5 steps of the Raise Your Rates formula: quality clients, communicate your value, package your services, value pricing, and consultation mastery. And as you can see, just to let you know, I will be doing a 2-day virtual retreat, so you don't have to go through airports, on attract quality clients. That's going to give you the exact blueprint that you need to be able to get out there, be seen as that expert, and no matter which way you want to do it, you're able to communicate your value.
Well, Lauren, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to be looking at is remove the guesswork. But before we do that, we have our first poll question. So what's your biggest marketing challenge? Clearly communicating the value my firm offers, attracting quality clients who are willing to invest, standing out from firms offering similar services, putting in effort but not seeing consistent results. And like I said, this is a great time. If you do have a question, go ahead and put that into the chat. And I'll be sure to get that question over to Lauren so she can answer that while we're doing our poll. And looks like we're getting close to closing out our poll. Yeah,
Okay, let's go ahead and end the poll.
okay. So what's your your biggest marketing roadblock? Really communicating the value my firm offers is 33%. Attracting those quality clients who are willing to invest is 22%. Standing out from firms offering similar services, 44%. Putting in an effort but not seeing consistent results is actually nobody, which is great. We don't want that to happen. But Lauren, if you're not leveraging uh, ChatGPT in your marketing yet, you're really missing a huge opportunity. Why don't you talk about the marketing mistake and what happens with that?
Well, I think the thing to look at is I talk to firm owners and they all tell me that they want quality clients, the ones who are responsive, the ones who are engaged, that they follow through on your recommendations. They are quick to respond to any communications that you have. And I know that that's what we all want, but a lot of times, whether it's the messaging on your website, on your QuickBooks Pro Advisor profile, what you're talking about at network events, when somebody just casually asks you, what do? It focuses on things that grab attention of those low quality clients. So I just want to say, I know that you want to fill your firm with quality clients, but the things that you're doing might actually be appealing to the low value clients who are either price sensitive or they're the ones that are giving you headaches. So some of the things to look at is I review a lot of accounting firm websites, and that it's possible to be, and these are words that the yellow, these are words that I pulled off of actual websites. And then I just went ahead and put in ChatGPT a way to be able to reframe it. And this is what it came up with. So instead of we provide affordable solutions, which is like a green light, I want price sensitive clients, we can change it to we boost profits and cut unnecessary costs. And once again, we help you run your book smarter, which focuses on the technical aspects of what you're doing. Is we can go ahead and say, we manage your finances so you can focus on business growth. And the last one, we work with small business, medium business, not-for-profits. That tells me that you are a generalist. If I am looking for someone who knows what my specific needs are, I'm going to probably bounce off and move on to someone who's talking to what's top of mind for me specifically in my industry. So the way to be able to reframe that with ChatGPT is we help e-commerce and service businesses improve their cash flows. So this didn't take a long time. It was a very quick prompt, and I got this back in seconds. When I first connected with Bill, he goes and does a lot of network meetings. He's very involved in his community, and he is what I call a servant leader, where he gives and gives and gives, but it's something that has been able to differentiate him, and he has a really solid reputation as a result of that. So when he was telling people what he does, he focused on the workflows, the tasks, the functions of what he does regarding accounting and business strategy and growth. But all we did was we revised his message so that he started to talk about what was top of mind for his clients. He started to be able to offer some solutions that were available that would fix those problems. He talked about why he was qualified, and he also focused on how things changed for his clients once we put some of these things in place, and he was able to solve their immediate challenges. He didn't change anything except for the messaging. And by doing that, he was able to engage in an additional $10,000 in revenue in less than 30 days. So he got paid for some paid diagnostics, which he used to give away for free. And also he got 2 cleanup projects, which he usually undercharged for. And now he was charging higher fees for that. So this is something that you can do also. He didn't do anything differently except for change the words that he used and the context.
Well, we've diagnosed the barriers, and now we're actually ready, before we can do that, to show you exactly how to attract those quality clients. But before we do that, we have our next poll question. How would you like to use ChatGPT for your marketing? Generate engaging content for social media, write emails, blog posts, or newsletters faster, personalize messages for different types of clients, polish my messaging to clearly communicate my value.
And I did put a question in chat also. What's one marketing
Mhm.
challenge you faced when trying to attract quality clients? So feel free to do double duty, answer the poll question, put something in the chat as well. Okay,
And
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I actually have another question, but we can
Go
just go
for
ahead
it.
and sure. So can ChatGPT really help me personalize my messages without sounding too robotic?
It depends on how you use ChatGPT, but there are things. So ChatGPT is something that learns, whether you use the free or the paid version. And it learns about you. It actually stores information about you. And as it learns more and more about you and what you do and who you serve, it's going to start to fine tune the messaging that it gives you. So this is like having a conversation with a marketer. You want to be able to explain to the marketer who you are, what you do, how you serve your clients, who your clients are. And as a result, the marketer is able to come up with something that's more focused on your particular business and the direction you want to go in. And that is true for ChatGPT. Is as you're using it more and more and it learns about you, it becomes your marketing assistant. So go ahead, Steve, and
Yeah, so how would you like
response.
to use ChatGPT for marketing? Generating engaging content for social media, 38%. Write emails, blog posts, or newsletters faster, 13%. Personalized messages for different types of clients, 13%. Polish my messaging to clearly communicate my value. And looks like that's also at 38%. That's great.
And also, there are some in the chat that said all of the above, even though I only gave you one option to choose from.
Okay. So figuring what to share can be the toughest part. What are the steps for ChatGPT to come up with the ideas and also the content?
Well, what you want to do is create possibly, first of all, as accounting firm owners, tax bookkeepers, you do great when you have processes in place. So marketing isn't just spaghetti being thrown at the wall and seeing what sticks. It can actually be very, very strategic with processes in place also that align with what you want to do with your firm. The very first thing that I look at when I'm coming up with my focus is I come up with a content calendar. What is it that I want to focus on? So that is something for you also, because now instead of it being generic and you're wondering, what should I say? We're now starting to get very, very strategic in what you want to say and when you want to say it, because there's seasonality in the work that you do also. Therefore, think about what are some of the topics you might want to talk about. Are there things that are top of mind with your clients as far as challenges that they are dealing with? Are there maybe certain questions that they have? And you want to be able to come up with some of those topics. That's the first thing. And that starts to formulate some of the content. And then what you want to do, so you can put something in ChatGPT about what are some of the topics that your ideal client tends to be searching for. And it will give you a list of topics. And then what I would say is choose one topic and then ask ChatGPT to give you 20 different angles on that particular topic. You don't have to do all 20, but there might be a couple that really grab your attention that you know your clients and the type of clients you work with would really want to have more on that particular angle. So it's now helping you take this generic, what do I talk about? We're going to go ahead and fine tune it. We're going to come up with certain topics as far as challenges or problems or questions that your clients typically are looking for or searching for. And then we're going to go ahead and filter it even more by asking for 20 various angles on one particular topic that you want to focus on first. And then you want to go ahead and let ChatGPT know how you want to use this. Do you want to use it for Instagram? Do you want to use it for LinkedIn? Because the tone for each of those is going to be a little bit different. Also, you can look at using it for your blog post, or maybe you want to write an email to your clients that focuses on that particular hot topic and send it out to them, because it's a way to be able to give them additional information that they would value. So that's a way to start taking this generic marketing thing and start creating some structure around it in a way that works for you by creating systems and processes.
Well, instead of spending hours brainstorming content or struggling with wording, ChatGPT actually helps the firm owners create clear, targeted messaging faster. And once they know what the content that they want, how do they get ChatGPT to actually deliver that?
Okay, this is the prompt that's going to give you your tone, your voice, in order to keep you from sounding canned or robotic. Take a screenshot of this. So you want to have the clear prompts that work. And this is what I use also. I'll give you the exact wording in an example in the next slide. But the very first thing is clarifying roles. You want to be able to put right there in the beginning, tell ChatGPT what role you want it to be. Do you want it to be a marketer? Do you want it to be a podcast producer? So be very specific about what type of role that you want it to have, but also tell it about your role of what you do in your firm and what your firm is about. So you want to give it some context, because if we give it context, then we're going to move away from those robotic canned responses that sound like everybody else that's putting something similar into ChatGPT. The next thing is, who is your audience? Is this for people in the construction industry? Is this for service-based entrepreneurs or people that do manufacturing or in construction? So explain who the audience is, and think about it. Where do most of your clients fit in their business evolution, or what are their revenues, their staffing size? So you can be very specific. The more specific, the more fine-tuned the message is going to be. And with the audience, what is the challenge that they're dealing with that you want to be able to focus with? So pick one of those things from the previous slide where we were talking about content, and now we're going to plug it into the prompt. Explain the purpose of this. Is this going to be going ahead and being used on social media in a blog post? Maybe it's going to be used as an email. So explain the purpose and what content style of writing you want to use. An example is using problem, agitate, solution. If you don't know what that is, look it up later on, but but that is a marketing writing style. Problem, agitate, solution, PAS style. So that is something you want to explain. It's how you're going to use it and maybe what content style you want to be able to use as well. The next thing is adjusting the tone. You want it to give it an instruction about how you like to talk, so it sounds like your brand. Are you someone who is very professional and you do everything at a very high level professional way? Or are you more of conversational and relatable? Or do you have a friendly tone? And along with the tone, you want to include maybe certain words that you want to use for this particular post, and maybe certain words that you don't want to use, like price sensitive or competitive rates. So that is something to think about. And then the last one is, what is the action step that you want people to take at the end of this particular post, this particular blog post, this email, whatever it is? You want to let ChatGPT know what is the last action you want them to have. It's called a CTA, or a call to action. So these are the things you want to put in a prompt to really get something that sounds like you and is aligned with your brand and your voice. So this is the one to take a picture of, a screenshot. This is the exact style that just takes everything I just spoke about on the clear framework and we just plugged it in. So it says your role is a marketer and copywriter, an accountant helping e-commerce businesses manage cash flow. Write a LinkedIn post about budgeting using the problem agitate solution framework. The tone should be professional yet conversational. Use words like clarity and profit. Avoid words like cheap and discount. The end is call to action is inviting engagement in the comments. So that is the exact phrase or prompt that you could be giving ChatGPT to be able to explain what it is that you want, talk a little bit about you, and also who you want this to be for. With Rihanna, she was coming from a service-based industry, so she was very, very client-centered to the point of overgiving and knowing that she was over-delivering and undercharging. And as a result of that, it meant working a lot of hours in order to delight her clients and please them, as well as it was cutting into her personal time and she needed to work so many hours to make revenue needs in order to maintain her business as well as her family responsibilities. So she would be putting the kids to bed and then running back to her computer and working long hours. She knew it wasn't sustainable when she saw the price it took on her family, where she wasn't showing up for social events, she wasn't at family dinners, and all the other things that come from working long hours. So we went ahead and fine-tuned her strategy and her messaging so that she knew exactly who her clients were and how she wanted to work with them. And one of the things that we did is we created packages, a silver, gold, and platinum. Her industry that she wanted to focus on was restaurants because she had 20 years of corporate experience in that particular industry. And the silver was for the small mom and pops. The gold were for restaurants that had more payroll and more square footage, so they had more complexity. And the platinum was for restaurant owners that had multiple locations, and they also needed more of outsourced CFO level services. So by doing this, she was able now to talk about her particular clients and the way that she worked with them based on the solutions that she offered and how she was able to work with the problems that were top of mind with them: seasonality, fraud prevention, inventory management. So those were some of the things she was able to talk about specifically, were the problems and the solutions and how she was able to package things together for them. And it made a big difference by increasing her revenues and also lightening her workload. Her family was happy to get her back.
Well, next, Lauren, we're going to be looking at attracting those quality clients. But before we do that, we have our next poll question. Where could ChatGPT make the biggest difference in your marketing message? Creating content that highlights my firm's expertise, sharpening my message to resonate with quality clients, saving time by automating outreach and follow-ups, customizing my communication to fit each client's needs. Great.
So does anybody have any questions? I just want to be able to check in. If you have a question, we have time. I'm happy to answer it.
I do have a question, Lauren.
Oh,
Any suggestions
go ahead.
about how to communicate your value?
You know what? I'm going to actually have somebody answer that. So Christian, do you mind unmuting yourself?
Gladly.
Thank you so much. So instead of me just talking about some steps, what are some of the things that you started doing to go from being more of a generalist and communicating your value?
Well, I think as bookkeepers or accountants, we get really good at describing what we do, and I think one of the analogies that you've used in the past is like a home builder describing to a client how many nails they're using to build their home. The client doesn't care. They don't care about reconciliations and, if you're analyzing AR and AP, like that goes over their head. They don't care. What I started doing, and just to let people know, I mean, you and I have worked together for a long time, that I really started framing my discussions with my clients from their perspective, right? Asking the questions about what do they value? What are their goals? What are their aspirations? Because then I can reframe what I do in terms of what it does for them. Okay, so I'm providing a financial statement. Well, they don't care. But if I say that, well, your banker or your bonding company for a construction company needs your financials or to review your information by X date so that you can be awarded a job, so that you can get the loan that you need, so that you can, then they're all ears. Then that's the value to them. The value is solving the problem. And so when we start talking more about the value we're providing from their perspective and less about the transactions and how many nails you're using to build their home, they become much more excited to engage with you.
And what has been the impact because you were able to fine tune your messaging as far as the type of clients that you were working with?
Well, the type of client I'm working with has definitely gone up in terms of the value I provide them, but the value that I'm receiving, the amount that I can charge for the services that I'm providing have gone up exponentially based on my value to the client. It's not about, oh, how little can we get this work for? It's, oh, look at the value that Christian and her team are providing me. And then when you're talking about the value you're providing, people are uh, much more ready to pay you a higher fee because you're not just compliance, you're now providing services and providing value that go well beyond compliance in their mind, even though maybe it is still compliance. But the way that you frame it, it feels a lot more valuable than just compliance. And when you're talking to their aspirations and where they want to go, and you're solving those problems, then they're more than willing to pay the higher price for your services.
Christian, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you letting me just have you help me explain it from a real life experience. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Steve, you want to go ahead and share the poll results?
Sure. Where could ChatGPT make the biggest difference in your meeting? Actually, we have two responses. Creating content that highlights my firm's expertise or sharpening my message. Oh, sorry, that's 14%. Sharpening my message to resonate with quality clients is actually 71%. Saving time by automating outreach and follow-ups is 14%. And customizing communications to fit each client's needs is 0%. Great.
Thank you.
And Lauren, we've covered how actually, before we get into the final section where you're going to discuss attracting those high value clients, I know you have something really, really new and exciting to share. Why don't you get into it?
I appreciate that. So if this is something you want to do, but you need some hand holding through the process or to fine tune it to really make sure that it lands and attracts those quality clients to your firm because you're tired of working with the price sensitive headache clients, then you might want to check out my Attract Quality Clients virtual retreat. It is at businesssuccesssolution.com/virtual. It is a 2-day virtual retreat, very intensive, very interactive, where you walk away with the insights on how to be able to be seen as that go-to expert, and you grab the attention of those right fit clients, and you do it in the way that fits for you, because introverts actually market differently than extroverts do, and we want to make sure that it fits your personality type and your style, as opposed to thinking that you have to adapt, but then it just doesn't resonate. And as a result of that, you don't do it consistently. So we want to be able to find what works for you so that it is something that is able to be long-term and fills your firm with those dream clients.
So we've covered how ChatGPT can transform marketing for accounting firms. Now let's bring it all together. What are the steps for using ChatGPT to attract those quality clients?
Well, this is similar to what Christian was saying earlier, is instead of focusing on the tasks, the workflows, the functions that you do, you want to have your message focus on what's top of mind for your clients. What is it that they are struggling with? What's a frustration? Maybe what's an aspiration? What's a challenge? What's a change in the industry that's going on in their industry, not your industry? So you want to be able to think about those things. And that's something that you can go ahead and do is plug into ChatGPT. What are some of the things that are trending for that particular industry? Whether it is research that's out there, changes in their business, and the way that their industry is operating and functioning and serving its clients. But you want to be able to focus on what's top of mind for them as opposed to what's top of mind for you. And Steve, did you have a tip that you wanted to add in and share with that too?
I do actually, Lauren. So ask ChatGPT to refine your website copy, social posts, and emails to ensure that they focus on client outcomes, not just the tasks. So you can use ChatGPT actually to really just review quite a bit of the work that you do, the website, the social posts, and also your email.
And an example is instead of saying, we do bookkeeping services, you can have ChatGPT very quickly reframe it as, we help service-based businesses cut financial waste and maximize profitability. So that's a very different reframe. Doesn't change what you do. It just changes the words so that you're talking to what's top of your clients' minds, which is their financials, their cash flow, and profitability, as opposed to needing bookkeeping services. The next thing you want to do is look at credibility. You want to be seen as someone that has the know-how, the expertise, the insights, the technology to be able to deliver on the services that they are engaging your firm to do. So one of the things to look at is there's ways to be able to establish yourself as an expert without it being exhausting or having to travel all over speaking at conferences, especially if you don't like public speaking, and the thought of that gives you heart palpitations. So you want to look at ways to be able to understand so let me back up. You want to think about maybe putting in a prompt about those industry trends that are going on or research regarding your particular client segment. And now you want to be speaking to that and posting about it in your particular tone and voice and angle or perspective. So it could be talking about it on social media, it could be a newsletter, it could be at networking events, or even with your clients when you're having advisory meetings with them. But this is a way to start to build credibility that you aren't just another technician, but you're someone that has the authority to be able to know exactly what's going on with them and how you can best serve them. And Steve, was there another tip that you had for that?
Well, I think it's important that now that we're using ChatGPT, you can actually use it to elevate your content from generic tips to actually expert insights.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of posting 3 tax deductions to small businesses, you can elevate it with how high revenue service businesses can reduce tax liability without those risky loopholes.
And I did put a question in the chat. How do your best clients usually find you? Would love to know what that is for you. The next thing to look at is content, because a lot of times the first thing is that you have writer's block. What do I talk about? How do I say it? You don't, or what way should I be putting stuff out there? You don't want to be on TikTok, if it's even a thing anymore. Or maybe you don't want to do those short videos on Instagram. That's not who you are. So what is the best way to get content out there? And to recognize that this graph shows you which ones are most used and build the most authority. So that's something to look at. Videos are definitely number one because they are second best to actually being in the same room, having a face-to-face conversation. But blogs can go ahead and have you take a complex topic and maybe go ahead and go further and deeper into it so that your clients actually understand it. The short videos can be on something that is maybe one quick tip that's done in less than 2 minutes that you're sharing on, and they can just take that one little soundbite and apply it immediately. But as they're doing that, they're getting a sense of who you are and your style, your personality, and that's building some rapport that they have, even though you don't even know who they are. Another way of looking at that is case studies, having testimonials on your website or case studies that you're maybe writing about is a way to be able to show credibility through proof of somebody else getting the results. Instead of you talking about what you're doing, somebody else is talking about it, which has a lot of value, similar to testimonials. And the last one is for your busy clients, they love checklists, something that they can quickly check off, feel that win. It lights up their brain that they actually got to do a check mark on something and move forward. And it gives them some quick results and satisfaction. So those are some different ways to be able to put content out there. Now, the next part is consistency. This is about realizing, yes, there's seasonality in your business, but you want to be visible when your clients need you, not when you have the time to be out there and maybe posting or networking. So realize that a lot of this can be automated. So, in the regard that you can actually go ahead and quickly create content with ChatGPT, but also once it's created, you can schedule posts. You can schedule an entire tax season's worth of posts back in December. And that way you don't have to worry about being out there consistently. Your clients are looking for you during tax season, but you don't have the time to post, but it's being done because you were able to automate it. So that is something to think about is we don't want you to just be out there when you need clients. We want you to be out there consistently. This is a marathon, not a sprint, because your clients are looking for you even at times when you might not have the capacity to be taking on a new client or posting, but recognize that this is a long-term strategy similar to compounding interest. So that's a way to be able to use it, is save time by generating ideas, be able to come up with a posting schedule that you can schedule ahead of time, and also use it for some brainstorming. Now, the convert is about taking that one topic with that one angle, and maybe you can repurpose it in multiple different ways. It's something that I love doing and I do on a regular basis. So if you come up with one topic, let's say we're talking about forecasting for growth-minded business owners that have a manufacturing business. Okay, so you can talk about something like that. And by doing that, you're going to get a very specific topic, but you can go ahead and create content now for your blog post. You can create a script for a very short video, or maybe 5 different videos if you're taking several different aspects about it and doing one soundbite each time. You can create social media posts about this. You can talk about one particular part of it during your network meeting each week when you have 30 seconds to be able to talk about who you are and what you do. So it's one particular topic and angle, but how do you want to maybe repurpose it in multiple ways? It's similar to when you go to a Mexican restaurant. They have 60 items on the menu. But if you look in the kitchen is stocked with 8 fundamental items. And they just found ways to repurpose those 8 items into multiple variations to be able to meet each person's different way of wanting to have a Mexican meal. So that's something you can do also, is take one thing and use it in multiple different ways. And as a result of that, it is so much more efficient and it's highly, highly effective. And the last thing to really look at is, okay, we've talked about a lot of things, and I just want to check in. Does anybody have any questions? So as far as referrals go, Christian said word of mouth and through CPA firms. Kirsten said Google searches and word of mouth referrals. Does anybody have any questions on what we talked about so far? I put a lot of things out there, but what it would be something that would be helpful so you can now take that next step and implement? And you can either unmute yourself or put in the chat. So if there's nothing specific that's coming to mind right now, then what you want to think about is start small. You don't want to do all the different things that will get you out there and build credibility, or all the different platforms for content marketing. Those aren't necessary. What you want to think about is one particular action step. Start small. So what is one thing you could be doing? Well, you could try ChatGPT to help communicate the value more so it appeals to clients. Maybe looking at your website and putting in your website headline and having ChatGPT revise it so that it's more client focused and focusing on what's top of mind for your clients when they're searching for you, as opposed to what it is that you do. It could be that you want to take that you go to network meetings every week and you want to be able to take what you were going to talk about and revamp it in a way that is client-centered and talks about the challenges and the questions that they might have regarding what you do, and giving them one quick tip or step on how to be able to resolve that, or how you've been able to do that with a client. So those are some different things to think about as you're looking at fine-tuning your message. Is ChatGPT can very quickly take what you already have as far as content goes and revamp it for you so that it speaks to your client instead of sounding like every other firm out there. And it's a way to start elevating your message and grabbing the attention of those quality clients. When I first connected with Wayne, she had a niche. She worked with people who were technicians in the entertainment industry, but she focused on the workflow of what she did, the technical side of what she did. And as a result, a lot of her potential clients in that industry were too busy. They thought they could do their books themselves, or they postponed doing their books until year-end taxes, and then they freaked out because it was very, very stressful for them. So what we did is we started to fine-tune her message that appealed to her quality clients. And one of the things that she was on a mission was to get rid of the starving artist syndrome. She knew that people that were in the entertainment industry could have a very successful business, even though they might not be financially savvy, and that she could help them with that part so that they can focus on serving their clients and their own business development. And as a result of that, just shifting how she talked about herself on her website, as well as when she was out there networking, her social media posts, it grabbed the attention, and she started getting more people in the entertainment industry reaching out to her, or others referring to her that worked with similar clients, because of the way that she was able to talk about who she served, what was a problem for them, how she could help them, and the impact that it made. So that is something that you can do for yourself also. And as a result of that, she started out this whole journey being very, very skeptical about what it would work. But by changing how she communicated about her value and being able to be more of that expert, she was able to buy her first house. She was no longer paying someone else's mortgage. She started she became a homeowner. She paid off all of her credit card debt, and she paid off her car as well. And this was all within 12 months, because she was no longer attracting just the people who wanted a lot of service for very, very low rates. She was attracting a high quality client to her firm that wanted the solutions that she offered, and they weren't price sensitive. They saw this as an investment instead of an expense. And that's something that could apply for you as well.
Well, Lauren, what we covered today was removing the guesswork, attracting those quality clients, and using ChatGPT to grab attention, which was great. And, Lauren, you really shared quite a bit, and now they can get started. However, I think that there are some who are ready to get this done and they don't want to figure this out on their own. What do you recommend for someone who's ready to take action and attract quality clients? What's the next step for them, and what do you have in store?
Well, the very first thing is I want to just say I appreciate you taking time away from working in your business and doing things, be operational, serving your clients, and joining me today to work on your business. If you feel that this is something that resonates with you and you're tired of thinking about it or wasting hours figuring out how to make this work, and you're ready to get it done because you know it's going to make an impact in how you serve your clients as well as who you are serving, then you might want to consider joining me for the 2-day virtual retreat on June 9th and 10th, Attract Quality Clients Virtual Retreat. It is a very small group, and also it is going to be very, very hands-on. So you get exactly what you need to be able to implement and elevate your message in a way that represents your brand and your tone and your style. So if that appeals to you, go to businesssuccesssolution.com/virtual to get all the information. There are some bonuses that are included in addition with all the regular resources. One is that I know that when I do live events, sometimes there are questions afterwards when you implement and you're not sure how to be able to take what you learned and actually implement. So it keeps you stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm including a follow-up Q&A session for everybody in the retreat to be able to ask all your questions, fine-tune what you got from the retreat in order to improve the results that you're getting. The next thing is I have a resource for you on how to pre-qualify potential clients with ChatGPT. That way, you're not finding that someone scheduled time with you for a consultation and you thought you were possibly going to have a new client out of that conversation. Instead, you got someone who wanted to just pick your brain and get free information. So we want to be able to protect your time. And I have a resource on pre-qualifying clients with ChatGPT. The third bonus that I have is a quality referrals guide. It has resources as far as scripts and templates on how to be able to get quality referrals from your referral sources as opposed to just any referral. So this is something that helps you teach your clients or your referral partners how to be able to send the right people to you as opposed to just telling everybody, oh, she's really inexpensive. You want to reach out to her. She does it all and it's really low rates. That's not the type of clients you want to fill your firm with. The next thing is that this includes lifetime access. So once you enroll into the retreat, you have lifetime access to the resources as well as the videos that are there. And also you get templates, handouts, resources. I give you everything so that you can go ahead and implement, and all the group sessions are recorded. And if you find that after the very first session, this doesn't resonate with you, just let me know and I will refund your investment. I want to make sure that this is a good investment for you and that I am delivering on what it is that you are expecting to receive and my promises. So I just want to say you deserve to fill your firm with quality clients, and accepting everybody has a cost to it as far as your revenue potential, your quality of people that you're working with, the quality of service you can deliver, and your time as well as your stress levels. So once again, if this is something you want to do right now, the price is going to be, the investment is $500. I'm going to let you know by the end of this launch or campaign, it is going to go up to $850 as far as the price to enroll in the retreat, because it's very hands-on, a lot of personal coaching that you're going to receive. So right now the investment is $500 because you're here. I want to be able to give you what you need. It is going to be a small group, so I can be very hands-on. If that appeals to you, go to businesssuccesssolution.com/virtual or scan the QR code. It has all the details there so that you know exactly what you're enrolling into and what you expect to receive as a result of joining our retreat and fine-tuning your message. So once again, I so appreciate you joining me. some of the people here today are already enrolled into the retreat. I can't wait to get my hands on how you are able to communicate your value and be able to fine tune that so you attract those quality clients to your firm. Thank you so much. And I look forward to our next conversation. Take care.